So last night, I got 3 hours of sleep, maybe 3.5. I did Piers Morgan and Susanna's show out of the UK at 11:40 last night, 11:40 Pacific time, which is 7:40 a.m. in the UK. And it was a very, very, very interesting thing. It was about Kanye West and what he's doing to promote President Trump and encourage Black Americans to start thinking for themselves. So I debated some Black woman from the UK who now lives in New York. I had her name here. Hopefully I can find it again. So what they did, long story short, they played the video of, Kanye West with TMZ, being interviewed by TMZ. And then there's some Black guy that works for TMZ who responded, overreacted, just real drama to Kanye's statements about slavery and stuff like that. So they played that clip, they played that soundbite, and they came to me first to ask what did I think about it. And, of course, I agree with Kanye West, and he said that something like blacks must have liked the 400 years of slavery because it was like a choice for them because they didn't do anything about it, right? But he explained later that what he meant is that not only were blacks physically enslaved for 400 years, but they were mentally enslaved as well for that long. And blacks should not waste the next 400 years being enslaved. And as we all know, most black people are enslaved. Not all, but most. They're enslaved. They're enslaved to the Democratic Party. They're enslaved to blaming the white man. They are enslaved to the race hustlers. They're enslaved to begging and whining. They're enslaved to the lack of moral character and the destruction of the family. So I responded, and I made the point that there is the blacks' fault. They blame racism. There's no such thing as racism. Racism does not exist. It never existed. There was a lie made up by the children of the lie. And by this point, this woman that I was debating, black woman, that I was debating, her mouth fell open. She's sitting there looking like she was losing it. And I mentioned that I grew up on a plantation under the Jim Crow laws and that blacks had been lied to. Blacks did better back then when it came to morality and family and not blaming and whining. They didn't have black leaders. And so they brought this woman in because by this time, Piers Morgan, Susanna, and this woman were having a hissy fit. Just literally having a hissy fit. They brought this woman in, and she's like, this is ridiculous. She mentioned the KKK, how bad they were, what they did to black people. And so I jumped in and I said, well, okay, well, if you're against the KKK, you should be against Black Lives Matter, who is a far-left, liberal, radical, agitative, evil organization that was founded by a bunch of black lesbians and black homosexuals and radical social justice warriors. And at this point, they cut my mic. They're like, no. You can't say that about homosexuals. That is something crazy. But in the UK, you cannot speak out against homosexuality. And so they ended the segment. They cut my mic, and I think they may have let this woman say something else. And it was over. James is getting a soundbite for you. We'll play that as we move forward this morning. But in the UK, you are not allowed to speak against homosexuality at all. It's against the law. Isn't that amazing? And they're trying to do the same thing here. Freedom of speech. I want to just play a quick soundbite from that because it ended after I mentioned the homosexuals. This is from the Evening Standard. Piers Morgan cut off controversial guest during Good Morning Britain. debate on Kanye West's slavery comments. And they said, what you just said is completely unacceptable. Here's that soundbite.
Blacks. Racism exists. To say that it's something that somebody made up is absolutely ridiculous. What do you think the KKK stands for then? What you think they will, because they're wearing white robes, they're a peace organisation? Come on, let's be serious here. Kanye did start backpedaling. I suspect
the KKK.
Trisha,
the KKK was an evil organization, just like Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter is a far-left, liberal, radical, agitative organization founded by a bunch of black lesbians and homosexuals and
Mr. Peterson, I suggest you give...
Okay, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Mr. Peterson, you're now descending into extremely unpleasant and, frankly, vile rhetoric. And I don't know why you think this is appropriate to say this on national television, but what you just said is completely unacceptable.
She said, or think it. Not only can I not say it, I can't even think it. They're called thought police or something, right? This is what happens when you allow the children of the lie to take over. It was much more to that interview as well. So I said more. We talked about Kanye and TMZ and all that, but they cut me off for that reason. You are not allowed in Britain to disagree with homosexuality, nor even think it. And this is coming to America if the people who are on the side of good don't speak up. If you don't start speaking up, then it's going to happen to you. It's already happening. In California, they're trying to get a law passed right now that you can't counsel with homosexuals who want to overcome the lifestyle. You can't say that. It's wrong. I'm wondering, why does the people of the UK, the citizens of the UK, allow them to take away their freedom of speech? You know, I've been interviewed by Piers Morgan when he was a host on CNN, and I know he's somewhat liberal, but I've seen him lately speaking up for men because men are under attack, and I've seen him stand up for President Trump, and so I think being over there and being a TV host in that country, if you don't have the right to speak out against what's wrong, he might be acting that way just to protect his job.